maximize your job to the best of your ability and suck up all the money you can from your job. You're worth it. You add so much value to
Facts.
companies. And on top of that, Hassan, I really think that
Mm.
should look at their skills and talents, their natural skills and talents. Really start thinking of ways you can monetize these skills, because
100%.
even with a job, inside the job, you're gaining so many skills that people pay top dollar for. In a business,
I'm trying to give me a bag. I'm trying to give me a bag. I'm trying to give me a bag. I'm trying to give me a bag.
What's up? What's up? You are now listening to FY Fly the podcast, and I'm your host, Hassan Thomas, along with Remy, and we are here to share tools on how millennials can budget, save, invest, and understand student debt and credit to achieve financial freedom. If you're a high school student, college student, or someone who's interested in gaining more financial insight, this podcast is for you.
I'm trying to give me a bag. I'm trying to give me a bag. I'm trying to give me a bag. I'm trying to.
What's up, my fly folks out there? How y'all doing? I hope y'all doing all right. Welcome to the FY Fly podcast. My name is Hassan Thomas, aka the kid that did and the man that can, baby. And today, we're gonna be chopping it up with financial educator, wealth coach, and the founder of Cash is Queen, Miss Yarelys Tifa. How are you?
what's up?
Yeah. How's everything been since? Talk
Oh
to
my
us.
gosh, there's been so many opportunities.
Yeah.
Realized how much of a cash cow FinCon was, like with the operations, the partnerships,
Yeah.
brand opportunities, just a lot of amazing people that want to see you win. That's so important.
Big facts. Well, like I said, we're not at FinCon no more. We here on FY Fly, and what we like to do here, we like to skip the fluff and get right into the good stuff. So
And
when it comes to your finances, we speaking with the Cash is Queen herself. So when it comes to finances, I truly believe that a budget is the most fundamental part. I believe that a budget is just like, a spending plan, because a lot of people hear that B word and they get a little apprehensive. So, I really want to get your thoughts on how important a budget is whenever you're trying to get your financials right.
Right. So it's honestly the most fundamental concept that you could ever work on in the beginning of your financial journey and your stage. And wherever you are,
Okay.
in every stage
Yeah.
of your life, you really should be budgeting, because it gives you a lot of clarity around what's going on with your money, where your money leaks are coming from, where the overspending
Yeah.
from, where you have room to grow and expand and put your money, right? Because it's also the side of that is, okay, yeah, I don't have enough money. I need to figure out how to make more. Another side of that is I'm making a lot of money, right? I have surplus.
Yeah.
That surplus. How do I maximize my money? How do I leverage what I have, my surplus, to then go and grow it, right? So, and that was actually when I was
Yeah.
in college, right? I was in that space of, okay, I don't make enough. What's going on? How do I, allocate funds accordingly? How do I, make adjustments? But then when I when I went to, I worked in corporate for almost 10 years. I got to where I had surplus of 4 figures in some months, which is crazy, people, because a lot of people.
So going from not a lot to having a lot, is a big. What would you say is like your biggest lesson learned from going, like you said, from not having a lot of money, not having a lot of leftover income to having a lot of income? What would you say is the biggest, like, oh man, because you've witnessed both sides of the spectrum. So what would you say is the biggest difference there?
Wow, so that's a loaded question. I very humble environment. My parents came here from Dominican Republic with not a lot of money. And you know how it is when people come here from a different country, you're trying to figure it out. You don't know how to grow, how to grow your money, how to create generational wealth. Like, in most people,
Facts. Don't even know what that is.
no, hell no. And most people that don't have that guidance of like having that quote unquote rich dad, or
Yeah.
that environment that kind of can get them to that next stage, they fall into poverty. And that's exactly what happened to us. We lived on government assistance, food stamp, welfare. I mean, all of the above, right? So
Yeah.
coming from that, you know, where like we really had to figure out towards the end of the month how we were gonna eat, to then, you know, now making over six figures, having thousands of dollars in, you know, an account and in a savings account,
Yeah.
having, you know, growing my net worth like crazy in different investment accounts. And I realized in that journey, I had to do a lot of internal things. You know, there was a lot of undoing, unpacking that I had to kind of like uncover and be like, oh yeah, like, you know, growing up, I realized that because I grew up in that environment, I
Yeah.
thought that I wasn't going to, that I wasn't worthy of money, like of abundance,
Wow.
wealth. You know, I'm just supposed to pay bills and die. I had
Yeah.
concept of financial freedom, generational wealth, none of that. How to leverage money, like how successful people and wealthy people and millionaires.
And what was that turning point for you? What? Because I feel like a lot of people are in that same mode of, you know, I don't. Do I deserve financial freedom? Do I deserve to be wealthy? What was that turning point for you? Like, this is my birthright. You know, like Ash Cash says, abundance is my birthright. So when was that turning point for you?
I think it definitely took a long time. You know, it's not something that is like this event happened and like my mindset shifts. It's not like that.
Got you. Okay.
Series of a series of situations, a series of connections, a series of meetings. So I got connected when I was in corporate. I got connected with a group of very successful entrepreneurs at the time. And I started to do a lot of networking. And that is
Okay.
types of people that like started to talk about financial freedom. And I was like, and I in my life heard of this term, Hassan. Like I'm telling you, I've never.
Yeah.
And then I'm here, I'm 20, what, 22, 23, and people are like, you know, you deserve to be wealthy, talking about financial freedom, what it takes to be financially free. And it kind of to open up my eyes, and I started to notice different things about my life, like, maybe I should do this a little bit different. Maybe I shouldn't party like I used to. Maybe I should buy, you
Yeah.
know, use a lot of my surplus to buy clothes and buy alcohol and go to parties and clubs, you know. And I started to like reframe my mind in that process
Okay.
of not only having that mindset of, you know, I would say evolving mindset, because you never get there, you never arrive, you're always arriving,
For
right?
sure.
So it was that, and then it was also the fact that while that was happening, I was also paying debt. And I was doing things that were increasing my net worth, which when you
Yeah.
really work on that, your confidence increases. So
For sure.
so that was a lot, that had a lot to do with my results, right? With me like undoing a lot of the things and unlearning a lot of the things I learned, because I didn't learn none of this in my house. My parents didn't what a high yield savings account meant. They didn't know,
Yeah.
you know, what investments accounts to open up, for what the benefits of those accounts were. My mom couldn't even open up a 401k until like 5 years ago, and she's about to retire because she had to take.
Wow.
So it was a lot of those things, and you know, generational trauma and curses, like, oh, you know, that this is not going to happen for you. What makes you think that you're good enough for this? And those types of that, like, I feel like communities of color and people that come from low income backgrounds have to deal with, and these are real.
Yeah.
These are real situations that you really have to work on intentionally, because if you don't, it's going to be so hard for you to attract the abundance and the wealth that you want. So yeah.
And you even spoke on, you know, those, you know, minority communities that we come up from, and first generational communities. And I think one of the biggest thing that's kind of like a trend in our communities is a distrust for banks and financial institutions. So can you speak a little bit on how important it is that we break out of that cycle and start using these banks, you know, how they're supposed to be used, and not letting them use us?
Right. So that's part of this whole journey of getting from where you are, scarcity mindset, you know, not thinking you're good enough, to wealth and abundance. That was one of the things that I had to kind of unlearn. It's so interesting that you mentioned it.
Yeah.
My mom, this is hilarious. So my
Yeah.
I literally had to write like a dissertation and like explain to her the benefits of a high yield savings account. My girl had
Wow.
$12 under her mattress. And this, she's so traditional.
How much?
She had quite a few, funds
Yeah.
under her.
So she had that bag under the
Yo,
bed.
she had a bag. She had a purse in her closet with like, in case money. Like if something happens to her, you guys, you could take care of me. You could take care of the funeral costs, all these things. And I'm like, girl, what are you doing with that? And then this comes from, the past, right? Historical past on how
Yeah.
we've been burned by people and organizations that were supposed to be there for us. Historically speaking, when you look back,
Facts.
great book called The Color of Money, Black Banks, and the Racial Wealth Gap. So that book, I have it right here, The Color of Money, Black Banks, and the Racial Wealth Gap, which it talks about these things, how, millions of Black Americans, of communities of color, lost their money in because they had them in bank accounts, right? And because
Wow.
generational trauma and those things that occurred that were real, in the 50s, the 60s, are still kind of like prevalent right now. That those thought processes happening. Like people are still like, I don't trust. We're very skeptical, right? Communities of color are super skeptical about everything.
And with that information, you can't blame us. If we were getting ripped off 50s and 60s, that's not even a long time ago for real. You know what I'm saying? So that's still prevalent and relevant, like you were saying.
Yeah, and that's why it's so hard to break out of that habit.
So I think that's where it truly starts, is the knowledge and education, because from the game that I've read, from the experts that I've interviewed and written books about, a lot of them say it's only two ways to really bring more money or increase your finances, and it's either to decrease your expenses or increase your income. To really widen that margin from your income to your expenses. So which one do you believe is the easiest for people to do? Can you explain that balance for us?
Yes. So that is a very interesting question. I love this question because you can absolutely do both, but one is limiting and the other one is not limiting, right? Decreasing.
Talk to it.
There's but so much you could do, right? You can only call your service provider once this week to get a discount. You know what I'm saying? Like it's very limiting, right? So yes, I do love, to bargain and to see what discounts, promotions, because guess what? These service providers are not calling you saying that they have a promotion right now, right? You do need to be a little bit more proactive and say, okay, every 6 months I'm gonna call my phone provider, my utility bill company, this subscription, that subscription. I'm gonna call to see if there's anything we could do about these prices right now. Okay, it's important to do
for sure.
So I really think that it should be literally embedded in your routines every 6 months, right? But again, it's very limiting. And in addition to that, I will say, anybody listening to this, job income is amazing. I was in a job for over 9 years, close to a decade, and it allowed me a lot of opportunities. It allowed me to get out of debt. It allowed me to grow my net worth to close to 6 figures because of the 401k matching at the job and stuff like that. It allowed me to have a account of 5 figures before I left corporate. That's really the buffer that I was able to get to be able to leave corporate. And when I got to that space where I was like, you know what, I want to take my business to the next level, that allowed me that buffer. It allowed me that runway to do that because I was in an employee stock option program while I was at work. Yes, maximize your job to the best of your ability, and suck up all the money you can from your job.
Come on now, if they go use you, you might as well use them.
You're worth it. Like you add so much value to companies, and you should be making sure that you're getting compensated accordingly. Like, come on.
Come on now.
On top of that, Hassan, I really think that you
Mm,
should look at their skills and talents, their natural skills and talents
yeah,
they have, and really start thinking of ways you can monetize these skills. Because
100%.
even with a job, inside the job, you're gaining so many skills that people pay top dollar for. In a business,
Mm-hmm.
also you do have additional skills that you're not using at your job that are natural to you, that you do, and
Yeah,
you can absolutely monetize and make money off of. So I feel like entrepreneurship is such a great way to also create generational wealth, because you can pass on to your future kids, or your next of kin or whatever.
100%. And I think you were about to touch on, or you were alluding to it a little bit, but can you elaborate on the importance of automation? Put it because you, like you said, we ain't got to lift a finger. We lift one finger to set up that automation, and then we ain't got to do nothing else after that but let that money work for us and let it compound. So can you tap in a little bit with the power of automation?
Yeah, so it's a benefit for a number of different reasons, right? So not only are you that money is being allocated for your future, but now you're limiting oversight now
Mm,
as well, right? So now that money's leaving your account, you're not it's not even visible to you. So it gives you an opportunity to not
yeah,
spend as much as you would if it still was in your account, right? So, and then you have the whole thing of, you don't have to go in there every single month. We're busy, right? Going into an investing account and logging in and making that transfer every single month is also something that not only is and
yeah,
is time consuming. It takes maybe 10 minutes or 5 minutes or so, but extrapolating that, it takes some time, right? And then you have to think about it. You have to remember to do it also. So what happens to those months that you forget to do it, and now you're like, oh, now I actually I just
exactly.
spent my investing money on, like, on some shoes. So now I can't even invest that money. What's supposed to
Mhm.
go there, and what's going to go there if your money was if this transfer was automated, right?
For sure. For sure. So I have one more question for you, Yarelys, and I really wanna read you two quotes, and I want you to tell me which one is more accurate in your opinion, all right?
Okay.
All right, bet. So the first quote is more money, more problems like Biggie. And that second quote is money can't buy happiness. Which one do you believe is more accurate in your opinion?
I love the song, but more money, more problems is it's so toxic. It's kind of like around the same concept of
Fact.
along the same concept of, oh, I don't want to make more money because I got to pay more taxes. What? Are you kidding me?
Mm,
I have a
yeah.
problem with that quote. It really should be more money, more opportunities, more money, more options, more money, more freedom. Because it's not about the money; it's about what the money can give you, and that's why I think that money can buy. Money
Mm,
can absolutely buy happiness. Yes,
yeah.
there are other things involved with having money, right? I don't want to be in a Honda crying. I want to be in a Porsche crying. I prefer that. But there's you also, you can't think that automatically when you have more money everything will fall into place and you're going to be happy, because that it's more like you finding your purpose and your calling that will make you happy. Yes, it's going to support those lifestyle shifts that you are probably going to experience as you're growing in life and as you're changing,
Mm,
environments and seasons in your life. But there are things that you also have to focus on to make yourself happy. It's not just the money. That's just a small part of it, actually. It's really the impact and what you
yeah.
can give out to the world. We all have talents and skills that have been instilled in us from God, and they're specific to us. Only we
Mm,
can kind of bring out to the environment, and we can bring out to other people, and we can help, the society with. Only we can do that. Only I can do what I do. Only you can do what you do. The people that
facts.
I impact are different than the people that you impact, right? And that you touch. So with that said, I think we also should be more along the lines and thinking of, what is my purpose and calling, and how I can make money from that, so that I have that
Yeah.
happiness that I want and that joy. Because happiness is fleeting, right? You can make That's exactly what happened to me in my story, right? I would be upset with my job, wanting to
Uh-huh.
leave my position, and then get a $5,000 bonus check, and then I'm like all of a sudden happy, but it's fleeting, because next week
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to deal with some other crap, at work. So it's really about how you can
Yeah.
maximize those talents and those skills, and not really about the money. So money, I feel like, can buy happiness, but you also have to look at the other areas in your life, and not just money. That shouldn't be the end goal, right? That should be the byproduct of your happiness.
For and the way that I like
Question.
to, first of all, I love the way that you broke it down. And it you said
I,
what?
I don't even know if I answered the question, but those are just my thoughts about those two terms, or those two phrases.
No, you definitely did answer the question. And I was gonna say the way that I view it is more aligned with the way that you answered the question as well, is, more money, more solutions. And let's use this money as a tool, as it's supposed to then, create the byproduct of happiness, the byproduct of chasing our passion and accomplishing our goals, helping other people with this money. So that's how I like to, and I'm in full agreement with you, is that money is not the end all be all, but we do need the money to accomplish our goals, our dreams, and what we want to get done. So the money is definitely mandatory.
Right. Yep. Like you can't go without money in life. Like there's no way. So we need that, right? But it's about what it can do for us. How we
Big
can
fact.
kind of like give back with that money. How we can use it as a tool, and not as, this is what I'm achieving in my life. Just having a whole bunch of money. Okay. What is that going to give you? How are you going to feel? What are you going to do with it? So
Come on now. Come on now. And like I said, I really do appreciate you jumping on the FY Fly podcast and rocking out with us today. If you have any final words from our audience, any final gems, and then also let them know where they can reach you.
absolutely. So I'm mainly on Instagram at Tifa, my last name 14. That's where I share most of my fire content, that I provide to the community.
Yeah.
I also have a website, www.cashesqueenllc.com. And my parting words, parting thoughts. For some reason, this is in
Give it
my
to
heart
her.
right now. I don't know. It's meant for somebody, but you deserve more.
Hmm.
That's what I'll say, and how I'll leave this interview, is that you deserve more. You deserve more of everything that you want to accomplish. You just need to go out there and get it. Okay? Don't let anybody tell you
Yep. You
that
you deserve it.
you can't achieve what you want to, right? That's too much of a too big of a dream to accomplish. Never let anybody's limitations show up in your life based on what they tell you about you, right? You are in
Hmm.
this on this earth for a reason and a purpose, and it's up to you to find out what that is, so that you can really live the life that you want.
Come on now. Drop them gems on us. Drop them gems on us. And to piggyback off what you just said, don't let someone's limitations stop you, but also don't let someone else's failures stop you from trying something that they failed at.
Right.
If you have a plan and you're confident about it, go out and achieve it. Just because it didn't work for them, and they may be a little older than you, or may have a little more, followers, or whatever the case may be. If you have a plan and you're confident about it, shoot your shot, because you just very well might make it.
Just shot. That's it. That's all. That's what life is about.
100%, 100%. So, like I said, thank you all for listening here today. Take some of these gems that you heard, and not only just, listen to them, but actually apply and implement them into your life and watch it change. So, y'all know what I need y'all to do. Stay safe, stay invested, and stay FY fly. We'll see y'all next week.
Thank you all for listening to FY Fly the podcast, and we hope you enjoyed the show. Tune in next week for more financial literacy insights with our special guests. Please visit our website, social media platforms, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at FYI Fly Podcast. That's FYI FLI Podcast. See y'all next week and stay fly.